and mess around with are the ears correct? Dude, this has to get done. So that's why. He could always draw that stuff, but all the big illustrators do that. And unless they're like super stylized or something, right? They time is money. So it's one of those things, even like Bernie Fuchs, who is a famous illustrator from New York. If you saw his artwork, you'd know it right away. 70s jazz, Misty, right? And he did things like, anyway, they all did it. So in my mind, the AI thing is what's going to happen is for years, they've had technology like 10 years ago that I could access, that I could take like, I could take something I have, like that ship you're holding, RJ, right? Or anything really, and you could take photos of it and scan it in, and it would produce a 3D from the photos. Okay, and that's the simple version. The high-end version is called photogrammetry, and what that is that you have, and it's hard for people to believe it until they see it. But you can have a drone hover around a hill with grass. And whatever's in the grass, right? Rocks and stuff. It'll take photos from all directions. And then it will create a 3D model of that. And it will be colored.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and that's been if you go on to like a 3D site to buy like for your animation, to buy something, you can buy a hill that they did that, and then they cleaned it all up so it looks nice and you can put it where you want it, kind of thing. Right. So, and the dark side of this stuff isn't what we're talking about, because for us it's just like if RJ's a creator, he wants to have his ideas come out. He's not going to pay me $1,000 to make his figure. He's just going to be able to have a couple of drawings that look like and then eventually the AI will make it for you. Yeah, that's and it's going to happen. I'm sure it's already real. And, the dark side of this is that everything you see in your television, a lot of it's fake. The things that look fucking real are not real. And that AI animation that you'll see where the new trailer to Star Wars from the 50s, right? Like that stuff is that's tip of the iceberg. Because you can spot that. You go, the guy's walking backwards. You can spot it, right? Everybody can sort of see like the things. But in real life, they can make fake footage of anything. And it's really dark. It's a dark thing, we lost him.
Am I still here?
Yeah, your image is frozen. But
my screen's frozen. I can't see much.
I can hear you though.
All right, that's something at least.
But the cool thing about it is for someone like you who's not a 3D artist, you'll be able to make your things, right? And you'll be able to, like, if you have your character, you'll be able to do it pretty easily. And to me, it's impossible that it won't happen, right? Because let's just say, just like 3D artwork, just like 2D artwork in a comic book. Yeah. Once one person does it and that looks like shit, the next person does it and then it looks really good. Then it's going to be like, it'll just be, well, which one do you want? Do you want the guy on steroids? Or do you want the natural bodybuilder? Right? Yeah. They're two different categories. And that's just all, it's going to be that way, so I think people really enjoy something that somebody made with their hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Well, let me ask you a question. If you had these AI tools when you did your 9-minute movie, how much faster could you have done it?
Well, it's hard to say because I've never been exposed to those tools, right? So what they would be is they would be like my 3D software, but they would be streamlined, right? So you wouldn't be rigging characters and painting them, right? You wouldn't need to. You would just have a drawing that says RJ did the drawing, and then here's what it looks like, right? So it'll make a character right out of your drawing. So to me, it's like, it's probably night and day. But the problem with all that stuff is that it doesn't look like a human being made it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you fake it,
okay,
I'll give you a really good example of this. Okay, you and I will watch. Remember the movie Tron, where Clue was fake?
Yeah.
Okay, it was for the time, it was fucking amazing. Okay,
right.
And to get to that point, to get that is fucking stunning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even an untrained eye looks at that and goes, "Oh, kind of. I guess I kind of get it."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you're in your subconscious, you subconsciously know what a human being looks like. You don't have to make a list, right? All the subconscious things that go on and the subtleties. So that's slowly going to go. The thing is, my personal opinion is that human beings will always be able to go, that's the thing now. I get it, but that still looks like AI.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think a lot of people...
So, you think the uncanny valley will pretty much cause people to reject this stuff?
What's that? The
uncanny valley is when something is...
I think I lost you. Sorry. I can hear you now. Yeah.
I can't see your camera, so I don't know if your camera went off or something. But anyway. But uncanny valley is the term for when your brain sees something and it says this is fake, and it sets up like a cognitive dissonance when you see it.
I like that.
Yeah, it's called the uncanny valley. Like an example would be Alita Battle Angel, that movie that came out a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at her, there's something in your brain that says that's not real. It is something in your brain. It's like, even though it's like she's an AI construct, you can tell, there's something about her that's just so unnatural that it triggers your brain. It says, okay, this isn't real. Okay.
Well, I think for the realistic stuff you're talking about, that I think that they will be able to get to the point where it looks totally for real. I'm sure that it's like that right now, right? We just don't know which one it is.
Right.
So if you watch your television and you see famous guy named John Doe talk to somebody, we all think that that's real, because why would we second guess it? But the truth is, some of that stuff is fake, and they probably test it out that way, right? They're going to go on Good Morning America, and they're going to have a fake person, right? And so we're going to try it.
Well, right. Yeah. Well, I guess we can hope that it doesn't get so realistic that we won't be able to like tell the difference, because if they are able to start like framing people for shit and actually like faking the footage and it not be able to be determined, then that's a slippery slope. We're going down the road to what's the name of that movie with Tom Cruise?
Minority Report.
Minority Report. Yeah, then we'll be heading down to Minority Report territory. And
well, I my personal opinion is that well, let me pose this question that might spell out the whole thing. Is it more beneficial for the powers that be to make rockets that go to the moon, or is it more beneficial for them to make the technology to think you went to the moon? I would argue that the second one is the more powerful thing you want to make.
Oh, okay. Are we going to say that the first moon landing was faked?
Well, I'm posing the question. That's all. I mean, to me, that's kind of not a hard thing to determine, right? Because you don't, what's the benefit? The benefit is mass illusion. And then the first one with actually going to the moon is you made a kick-ass rocket, and you're able to do that. To me, that's like if I was this evil dude and I was like control the world economy, I would go give me the illusion, because I can come up with a bunch of other things that I can make out of that. So I personally think that it is going to be that is exactly the real people that are going to be AI people, no doubt about it. You know, and as a matter of fact, I would probably say right now, like they could have you talking and then map your body on, map your small things, the nuances onto the AI model live.
Well, they're already doing some like de-aging in some of these movies. That's pretty accurate. Have you seen the Star Trek movie that it's like mini movie that just came out online, released online?
I just saw the scenes with Kirk.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked to me it looked like the lighting was beauty lighting, movie beauty lighting, right? So I would be even more impressed.
It's supposed to be the afterlife, I guess. So
my point is, if you're trying to like get to another level, this looked really good, right? I could still tell that it was fake, but but if you had like
my computer spazzed out. Sorry.
I would be more impressed if they had a fake William Shatner sitting at the lunch table while they're making the movie, and he's talking to me, because the lighting would be like our lighting, right? More like RJ's lighting, right? Where it's like normal lighting, right? So to me, like then because once you get these like movie lighting things, the rim lighting and the back lighting or whatever, then you know it's fake, But But anyway, the whole thing about people making their own thing.
Well, there's that scene in Running Man where they decided to like map his face onto somebody, and they killed that guy off, and then they said it was him. And so I guess that's probably where we're headed eventually. Now, by indie comics or indie campaigns in particular, you were one of the first people I saw that actually included a 3D asset with your campaign.
Sure.
Like on the bottom tier, it wasn't its own tier; it was like alongside of other stuff.
No, on mine it wasn't. Mine I had. You could buy the figure. You could buy the figure separately. Right. Or if you bought like the everything tier, you would get that with it, right? Yeah. So it's pretty detailed. I'm doing, I'm doing a promotional thing for my next book, which involves 3D, and I'm in the process of doing that. Just doing that alone has added 1 year to the book. And it's a shitload of work. I'm making real good progress, but I don't see, for me, the most important thing is, and I could be wrong, okay, but my point of view is that the idea is the most important thing. Right. So if your character resonates with people, then you will make an impact against these larger campaigns, because your character's so well thought out. He has a cool story behind him, and people look at it, and it's more than just a dude, right? Ironside is more than just a normal guy. And so but I don't think it's going to happen with all people. I think it'll be like, because once everybody does it, right? So, I mean, it's not like it's going to separate.
Yeah. Right.
It won't level the playing field at all. It'll just be like easier for people to come up with their ideas, And I think, quite honestly, maybe for a period of time, it'll make a difference. But it's like, in the end, I think you should always go back to the design of your character and the idea behind the character, right? And to me, that's what human beings connect with. You know, I don't know. I don't know anything about RJ's character, but I'm sure it's space. Like you said, space oriented or something. So I mean, you know, to me, that's and if it was easy, you know, because like if you look at like Marvel or DC, they would have they would come up with great characters, but there's a lot of not great characters, right? There's I'm sure there's a Rubber Man somewhere in there, right? So I mean, it's like to me, it's like. The characters out of the top tiers, the Supermans, the Batmans, Spider-Mans, those are fantastic. And it's so hard to design those characters, right? Not to mention it's all been done. So, I mean, this idea that you can come up with a character that stands apart, that's a miracle into itself, right?
Well, I also think that that it's important to kind of like get people's imaginations, you know, if you can like trigger people's imaginations around your intellectual property in some way, shape, or form. And putting something in their hand that's in 3D space, kind of like, you know, the like the fighter, like RJ's got. Or you know, Shadowpunk, your figurine. I think it really what it does is it kind of like connects people to your world, to your intellectual property, to you know, if you can take that's one thing that the 80s did so well was every cartoon that had a figurine, and maybe the figurine came from the cartoon, or maybe the cartoon came from the figurine. But if you wanted to like connect to that intellectual property or that you're watching, you know, cartoons, if you wanted to, you know, play as He-Man, you could play as He-Man. I was more of a Skeletor guy myself, but you know, I mean, you know, what about me? But anyway,
well, you know,
but having that in your hand,
it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Yeah, you know, RJ, your spaceship. The cool thing about that is that, and this is probably your logic, right? Is that after people get the book, they can put it on their desk all day.
Exactly.
And to me, and if you can, I don't know what the thing is all about, right? But if that simple thing is like a little like, you can look at, it doesn't look like just a ship. It looks like the ship from Orion, right? I mean, and then you go, that's that, and that's hard to do because not everything you make is going to be the what's the right word? The epitome of the idea, right? But I think if you know, in the end, that can't hurt, right? If you have, I can make something that's shadowpunky, but in reality, I have to find the thing that I think is the hottest thing, the thing that it's going to blaze. The idea is going to blaze right off of it. That's hard to do. I mean, I don't know how to do that all the time, but you know, that is the challenge. You know, and I think that's how you stand apart. But I think the most important thing is the idea. You know, the idea of your character, the premise of your book. To me, that is. Well, I'll tell this is totally un-3D related. Okay, this mystifies me, and I've said it more than once, but I'm going to say it again. The other thing that's important, if you have a campaign, you're going to launch a campaign, you might want to post pictures of your book like before you launch. Absolutely. You might want to let people know, and I think 90% of the people do that. I'm saying they don't do that, really? Right? So so this is why I post. I post for people because I'm like, after I did my campaign, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I can figure this one out. Okay, people need other people to help them do this because if you do it on your own, you feel like you're in an echo chamber, right? At least that's how I felt. So, but like some of the people I've seen them all of a sudden John Doe's launching, and oh my gosh, what? Mm-hmm. Holy gee, like nobody knew, right? I mean, I would, like I've used this metaphor a couple times. I would light my hair on fire if I couldn't come up with anything else. I would get strippers online to come over to my house and hang out, and people would tune in, and I had my book right there. I do it. You have to let people know all the time, and it's almost like these dudes. I don't understand the logic, and some of them do actually, and I'm like, thank you. That's a guy that I can that's think through, right? But I just don't get it, and I just don't know what because just launching a book and hoping is not a plan.
No. Luke told me early on, like it's kind of like the movie A Knight's Tale. You got to be both the champion and the herald. You got to be who was the herald? Oh, it was the guy who played
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany,
but he was playing Geoffrey Chaucer.
Yeah, it was Geoffrey Chaucer. Yeah, and then Sir Auric
von Liechtenstein.
Thank you, von Liechtenstein. I can't remember actors' names. Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger and Geoffrey Chaucer.
Was this a movie? Was this a movie where it was like a medieval movie and then they had modern music in it?
It's like
they
play Queen. It's like a football game, but it's jousting.
I remember not getting it. I remember going, what? My buddy's like, that's fucking great. And I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Right? And it's like, everybody likes something different, right? Everybody's got like, they see things and things that other people don't see,
I love the opening scene, people dancing around with face paint.
Well, it's
a football game.
Yeah. Well, that was their sporting arena.
Right, but they didn't have, But they didn't have, it wasn't, I mean, they didn't have modern music.
No.
Okay.
It's just kind of funny. Like they could just stop and clap like it's Queen, We Will Rock You.
Remember in Excalibur when Igraine dances around and gets all the guys horny, right? That's more real. I can buy that one. I mean, having sex and plate mail, maybe I wouldn't buy that. I don't think anybody did that one. But that
was the point. The point was,
the point was to deceive her so that nobody knew. I get it, but my point is, that's the only time. Go ahead.
No. Sorry, I'm delaying. Keep going.
Yeah. So anyway, if that movie was like, it was really a thing other than what I saw. Like, it's not really just like to get young people excited. It's a whole thing. Somebody figured out a cool idea that I totally went over my head.
Right.
Right. So I don't know what it was, but I remember thinking, and then on a totally different thing here, totally different subject. Okay. The whole fucking drama in Comicsgate is fucking sick.
It's ridiculous.
And I'm telling you, it's all intentional.
Yeah.
These people, they all because it works up everybody. I get it. But I'm just telling you, in my mind, people leave when they see that stuff.
Yeah.
A certain percentage of people leave.
Yeah.
And it's like, and nobody cares what I think, but I mean, that's what I think. I think it's a bad thing, and it makes me want to leave too.
I agree with you. It'll get you the clicks, but it won't get you. My opinion is it doesn't get you backers. I doubt the people who are bringing attention from lots of drama are actually getting many new backers. They're probably just getting lots of clicks.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's like this WWE sideshow. It's just like it'll get you the rage clicks, but in my experience, even if you get a small audience, like I'll do little YouTube shorts. And I'll get hundreds, maybe thousands of views, but those people don't come back. They don't subscribe. They're not, returning viewers. My returning viewers I get from little live streams like this because I'm getting the right audience, and those are the people who actually back books.
So when you're in your book, do you have a main character?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you figured out or thought about making a figure of him? Her?
I could. He's kind of like, I could show you maybe a picture of him. He's just kind of like a soldier looking guy. Just sort of he's not a regular looking dude, but he doesn't look unlike other things you've seen before.
Okay.
And something that I think sets my comic book apart more.
Well, give us your pitch.
Okay, so it's basically
Give
like
us your pitch.
it's everything I love about sci-fi. So it's Battlestar Galactica with a little bit of a Star Wars flair meets Starship Troopers and Brave New World, all kind of thrown into one comic book story, and follows this team of like their equivalent to Navy SEALs are called the Alphas, and there's a hostage situation. The terrorists basically want their leader freed from a supermax, and the leader of the Alpha team, his girlfriend is one of the hostages. So that's the premise of the book.
It's cool.
It's a very action-driven book. It's edited by Mike Barron. In his words, it's a fun space opera, and it's better than most of the shit that DC and Marvel are currently publishing. So there's your little pitch. Cool. It's also dragged by Luke Stone.
That's a low bar.
Artist.
That's a low bar.
So you're the creator and the writer?
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds cool. It sounds like you have a really good premise.
Yeah, it's fun. It's something I had fun writing. Just thinking of and writing. But I think sci-fi, you know, like good sci-fi, like Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, you could picture those ships in your head, you know, when someone says those titles. So that's why kind of a big reason why I wanted to just have these ships, aside from the fact that I just think they're fun, you know. Yeah. We wouldn't want this. But there. It's like painted and unpainted there.
Yeah, show me the unpainted.
Let me blow it up right quick.
This is the unpainted here.
Oh, yeah, that's like a super streamlined.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to look fast. It carries a lot of weaponry, vaguely kind of like based off a stealth plane, you know?
Yeah.
You know, powerful engines, very streamlined.
Is the speed part of the story?
The speed is a big part of the tactics of the Alphas because they're basically like, you know, I once heard a Green Beret say on Joe Rogan's show, he wouldn't want to fight a SEAL team anywhere near water. And that's kind of how the Alphas are in space. That's their element. So the speed of their ships is part of their tactics. So that'll come into the story.
Cool. Yeah, that's neat.
I think all that stuff sets it apart. Like you said, this is like something you'd want to put on your desk and just, you know, remind you of the book. It's something fun to look at. And it really, I think, makes it all unique.
You know, I have a question for you about that. Had you thought about putting a little curve on the bottom, connecting it to a base, or no?
I actually didn't think about that.
Because it sort of sets up and it looks like it's flying.
Yeah, there's actually a pretty cool idea. I didn't even think about that.
It's something, you know, and I'll just show you. You can see on the back of mine, there's a little curve connecting to her, and something like that, right? That's all I'm talking about. Where it's like the thing I'm describing. Also, you would see it with the Quinjet, where you would have that on like a toy. Where it would sit on your desk like a Hero Click. They did those, you know. That's an idea. I mean, but anyway, it sounds cool. It looks really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had one person say they would like to have like patches. So maybe I think maybe with the next campaign I'll do that. Right now I have a trading card also. Might as well just show you since we're on the topic. I got some samples here. So this is a sample of the trading card. This character is Lena Riley. Yeah. She's kind of like my April O'Neil character. She's the mouthpiece of the dystopian propaganda machine. She's also based on my friend Lisa Foyles, who's from All That and Malcolm in the Middle. You may know her. She's helping me promote it. Characters in her likeness. So,
do you live you live in California?
I used to.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so on Fund My Comic, there's a campaign. You can get a signed card. You can get a pre-ordered book. I'm not going to print too many, so that will get cut off. Yeah. So if you want something, a good collector's item, that's a good one.
So did Luke Stone use a reference of her?
Actually, Luke didn't draw that. It was Johnny JP7 on Twitter.
But she's in the story, right?
She is in the story, yeah.
So he didn't use reference of her in the story?
No. Luke drew 4 pages. I don't know how we best to share these. I could share a trailer. All the pages are there, or I could just go individually and share pages.
Whatever, yeah.
For some reason, a hard time sharing like individual pages.
Oh.
I could try it here.
Yeah.
Pulling it up. So yeah, Luke's drawn 4 pages that are complete layer and everything. I think the colors are super cool. His colorist really, I think, sets the pages apart. The lighting is really, I think, really grabs what we're trying to accomplish. Sorry, give me a sec while I pull up the file here.
No problem.
There it is.
Well, I mean, one thing about space epics, though, is there's inevitably you've got Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, and Star Wars. It seems like everything kind of like winds up being derivative of one of those 3. So it's kind of, I guess, a lot of people are like skittish about doing a space epic because of that.
Oh,
but,
do you think there's only so many?
I think because of that, it's kind of wide open.
Do you think, like idea wise, do you think that people think there's only so many ways to go with it?
That could be. I mean, I think if you read enough fiction, there's plenty of places to go. I think what people probably more of what Cooper's saying is that I think people feel more intimidated than anything else because you're going to be compared to the greats. That's what people really remember in the genre.
You know what? That's probably true.
Well, I think because of that, though, it's wide open. It's wide open for like a new vision because people are so intimidated by it. And since Star Wars has abdicated its place, it's left this really huge open market, and so I'm surprised that there's not more space epics.
If I was going to make something like a space thing like that, I would. I mean, because I'm not, George Lucas, I would come up with a character that people found so fucking compelling that they could put all their ideas in the character, right? Just by looking at the character, and that would be a way to do it. Whatever your ideas about the world, if they can relate to that character, then
that's I think really what it takes.
Which is really hard to do. I mean, let's face it, it's not easy.
Well, with that the Star Trek mini movie that came out, and I watched it, and it got me. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that's the real trick, and that's the challenge.
But I think the thing that made it so wonderful was because of these characters, and I think people kind of get it in their heads. It's the technology, or it's the story, or it's the universe, and intimidates people into not like delving into it. But the truth of the matter is, if you have good characters, then you can exist in that space, and people will be interested. Here we go.
So there's a page there. I don't know if you could. I like that. Should I zoom in on it? Would that make it easier?
I can see it pretty good. I don't know about Cooper. Okay. It looks nice. Nice colors.
Yeah, I would zoom in.
Okay. So this page, I chose these 4 pages that kind of happened in the middle of the book, but I think they're good because they show some of the action that takes place between both space battle and a battle that's on a ship. Oops, there we go. Can't see much detail, can you? Because I'm not very.
It looks really nice. It's a nice
looking.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So it's a battle that takes place in the nebula, so it should be bright. I think it lends itself to like a comic book page, and I was hoping to find a really great artist who could really run with that scenario, and I think Luke and Patrick really did that. So I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And again, I think ships separate sci-fi from each other. Ship design is just a great way to stand out, and Mike's thing he always tells every writer is be memorable, and I think this page is memorable, so I'm very happy with it.
Well, you know what? Yeah. It's also impressive because there's no characters in it to relate to, and design-wise, it's working pretty well. You know what I mean? So that's the key. You got to like make that work, and he does.
Yeah, he does. And I could show you the other pages I've got too. Let's go to the next one here. Can you see that one?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, maybe I got to share them individually. Sorry. That work. Okay.
You can't
Sorry.
use your arrow key to go through them?
I thought I could. I'm not. It didn't seem to work. Maybe I'm just.
If you zoom
technologically
in
where
on a
that could be.
page, sometimes it won't cycle. You have to
Oh, okay.
shrink it back down.
You seeing that one?
No.
Yeah.
I think it's.
I'm bringing it up. Hold on.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna zoom in on this one a little bit.
Mm.
Is that coming out okay there?
Yep, it looks really good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I like this because it's kind of like some like, I don't know, somehow the action of it sort of reminds me of Johnny Quest, and I can't explain really why. Something about the way that you could see the texture in their clothes. I just think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he did a good job. They both did.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. This will.
Cool. Mm.
That's better, huh?
It kind of reminds me of Cooper's book, the way it's colored.
Yeah.
Mm.
Who's your colorist, Cooper?
It's Mika from Barbusco Comics.
Okay.
But she does those gradations a lot like that. Is your guy Brazilian? Is Luke's guy Brazilian? You know?
No, he's not.
Okay. All the Brazilians were taught by pretty much the same guy, and they all have a lot of the same things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then the next slide here is the first time I actually show their faces.
Just so you know, when your mouse went up to the picture to the right, the little arrow came up for the next picture.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you could cycle.
See,
no big deal. I'll add it.
So this is like the big face reveal for the characters, for the main guys.
Oh.
So there's one human and two aliens there, and then Viper, the bad guy, is in the bottom right panel.
So one of the things that works really well is that, okay, you're keeping the backgrounds minimal, so they're not super busy, which Luke is handling that really well. And so all the details in the figures, and there's also, what I like also is there's ambient light, ambient color on the characters. So they're a little.
That's one thing I really like about the lighting too.
Yes. That's always a good thing.
I think it worked out really well because,
you can sort of see like the line work isn't all black.
Yeah, cool.
All right. The line work gets colored over with the color, which is sometimes nice.
When are you going to run this campaign for the actual book? You've got the figurine and you got the card.
I'm hoping February, but of course it depends on how many people get on the sign up list. Which, by the way, pull up the landing page. I'm using Substack as my landing page here, so I'm going to pull that up and put it in the chat here. And the sooner, I'm thinking about 100. I'm about like 40 right now. It might be like a pie in the sky dream, but I'm hoping to get there to like 100 by February. And if I could get there and get people actually on the mailing list and get those potential backers, then I'd love to do it then.
The thing about it that's really, and I'm just going to tell you my point of view, right or wrong, okay, pros and cons. So I like to retweet artwork like that to let people know the book is gonna come out down the road or whatever, right? But it's good to have a link that goes to a Indiegogo page or a Fund My Comic page or Kickstarter page. That way, because I think people are used to that. I think also. The Fund My Comic sign up page for that book should have a button that says share on the page, so that way the people can do that, because that's what I like to do. right? And it makes it so much easier.
Fund My Comic doesn't currently have an ability to do that. Indiegogo and Kickstarter do, but that's something that is being worked on. But
I wish they did. That would make it easier.
The reason I say it is because
but they're working on it, but it's not currently there yet.
You want the link to your artwork, right? You want those connected visually for people, right?
Yeah.
Because especially you have great art like that. I mean, use that to sell the book, obviously, right? But I mean, it's like right below, right on top of that picture should be a link that takes you to the sign up thing. I know you have the Substack. The Substack is fine. I'm sure it works really well. To me, it's always like, people are different than me, so I shouldn't say this. Okay, I don't like things like that to be unconventional, right?
Yeah, it is kind of a pain because I post it. So my typical post is on X. I'm a lot busier on X than other sites. I think the format of X just works for continuous posting.
Yeah.
Facebook's kind of weird. It feels like it's all divided into groups now, and groups don't want you spamming their thread all the time.
Is that okay?
With X, I just post a lot, and then we have, there's certain people on X who encourage it, and like there's certain people who just post in the comments of someone's post because someone else is encouraging all the indie comic artists to post about their work. So that works for me because I could put the Substack there. I could put, my 2 campaigns I have open, the trade card, the miniatures. I put the trailer in there. That's worked out. But yeah, absolutely.
Let me point out that the last time we had a huge jump in backing for indie comics was 2016 into 2017, and 2018 was like the peak. Guess who was president during 2016, 2017, 2018?
Orange Man.
The Orange Man, right? So I think
you know why? It's because groceries weren't killing people. Just buying groceries weren't breaking people's backs back then.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because the last 6 months, or at least the last 6 months, I've watched people launch their books, and I'm like, man, this is not good. I don't know why anybody would launch before the election. I don't really get that. Even if no matter what, to me it's a no-brainer. It's like
that's part of my timing as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
By the way, since we're on the topic of the mailing list,
I just think. Go ahead.
Oh, just since we're on topic of the mailing list, anyone who subscribes will get a free Orion pop socket. This is also a Johnny drawing, JP7 on Twitter. He is Brazilian, but he drew the trading card. So yeah, you'll get a free Orion pop socket just for subscribing. All you gotta do is reply to the welcome email with your address, so I know where to send it, and you get a free pop socket. And also, anyone who posts a picture of the free pop socket on social media will get a discount code for 20% on any call sign Orion merch. That includes the miniatures. That includes the trading cards. So there you go.
There you go. Cool.
All right. Cool.
And if fire jets are your thing, or if redhead babes are your thing, whatever you're into.
Yes. Of course.
Well, I have the link. I have the link to the Outer Jets in the chat, also the description, and also have the link to the card. Is also down there in description. I did get your Substack though, but that's I posted it into the chat. So
Perfect.
If anybody wants to go there, it's in the chat currently, and on YouTube. So
you said you want to see a trailer?
Play the trailer.
Oh, let me set that up back here. Just a sec.
No problem.
So while you're doing that, who did the trailer for you?
Anyway.
Oh, I made it.
Oh, cool.
Share it now.
That's pretty sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I just say, you picked excellent music.
Thank you. Yeah, it's it feels very like late 90s, early 2000s era, but that's kind of the vibe of the book. So I'm shamelessly embracing that.
It's as a trailer, it works really well for what you want it to do. It pulls you in right away. It changes tempo, so you're not the same dogmatic sound constantly, right? And you only have so many pieces of artwork to work from. So your text things really engage you, right? And by the way, I'm pretty skeptical of people's trailers. So so it works pretty damn good. And considering what you have to work with, the great artwork, great music. That's just a way to do it, man. I was ready to tell you it looked like shit, but it didn't. It looked really good.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, RJ's got to take off. Evidently, he's got a phone call. So
I just got to jump on the phone for a second here. Sorry, guys.
No problem. We're about to end the show anyway.
All right.
So we'll see. We'll catch you next time, man. Make sure you check it and back all that stuff and all those links, and we'll see you later, RJ.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man.
Well, that's pretty good. It looks like he's got a cool book going on.
Yeah, he's got a real cool book going on. Let me start my camera quick. Well, anyway, so that's the links are in the chat. Links are in the description. But thank you for hopping on. I know you're a busy man, chat these days. So I appreciate you.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, hopping on my humble little show.
My 2 cents.
So what you got? Right? So what you got? What you got going on, man?
So right now, I am probably going to launch Shadowpunk 2 at some point next year. Don't know when, early or mid. Just for people watching the show or people watching it. So I'm working on a promotional thing for the book, and that alone is taking me an entire year to do the promotional thing. And it's going to be something people's never seen before. It's totally fucking amazing.
A 9-minute 3D movie was beyond anything I've ever seen before. So I'm excited to see what you got cooking.
Yeah, this is going to be fun for people. I want to do something that nobody's ever done before in CG, right? And I want to engage people on the things they really like. So I'm doing that stuff right now. It sounds vague, but when it gets unveiled, I'm gonna, people will see it, and it's gonna be cool. Because also, awesome. As I'm watching people launch their campaigns, I was like, what? There's got to be more you can do than just show up, right, on the day you launch. So the wheels started turning, as you can imagine, and I was like, you know what, this is going to be neat. This would be a cool idea to get people involved. And I think it's also the way that we all launch our books is kind of stale.
Yeah.
In my mind, So this is a way to add fun to it, and I'm doing the book, and then I'll stop and I'll do this other thing for a couple of weeks, and then I'll do the book for a couple of weeks. That's kind of what I'm doing. So,
well, are you gonna have a catch-up tier for everybody that missed the first book?
Yes, I'm sure you're happy to hear about that. I'm gonna have a catch-up tier, and I'm gonna have multiple covers. And so, yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't just blowing smoke. I do think there's about to be an influx of money coming into this space, and so? I really do. What
do. Makes you think? What makes you think that? Oh, just the economy.
Well, the economy recovering, also because it's going to take years for the mainstream to get their head out of their ass. It's so firmly planted up there. Even if they make a course correction now, it's going to be at least 4 years before we start seeing things change. And
really, you think so?
Well, it takes about the turnaround on movies is about 4 years. Turnaround on television shows, especially as bloated as they are right now, is about 4 years. And comic books aren't coming back from where they're going. They're too captured.
So your logic so your logic then is, let's just say they came out with a fucking kick-ass Batman series, that would take years to get people to come back to buy the books.
Well, if they came out with a kick-ass Batman series, the next person that would have it would be an activist and destroy all momentum.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying hypothetically, right?
It happened with James Tynion. James Tynion the Fourth had a really good series. Well, I mean, they took it away from Tom King. Finally, gave it to James Tynion, and he brought it back, and it was kick-ass for a little while. And then they turned around and gave it to another activist who made him a socialist and gave away his money. And so even if they get momentum for a little while, like something like Immortal Hulk, was good for the first first run, and then they gave it to an activist again, and they took it into the trash. But so basically, what's going to happen is as the economy recovers, you're going to have a bunch of people with disposable income. And if the changes are made that they're proposing, and I don't see any reason why they won't be, I really honestly think that people are going to start looking for entertainment again. Okay. Which is what they do. Entertainment is something that happens, or the entertainment dollar becomes available, when people have disposable income. Basically, it's not a priority for people until they do. So
right, I've noticed. I've watching the books launch that like the amount people get the first day is just getting smaller and smaller. Some of them are like big books or whatever, but the average person, the average creator, for some reason that there's less and less people buying those books. And I'm like, wow, man, that's all across the board.
Well, people are jumping off now, and they're despairing now, and they're getting negative attitudes, kind of like yours now. But yes. I think it's all about the turn. I think it's all about the turn the corner. And it's always darkest before the dawn, and everybody jumps off when everything's like at its most bleakest. And and I honestly think those people who just stick around for a little while longer are going to reap the whirlwind. I just think it's coming.
Well, you may be right. I mean, my perspective sounds negative, but my perspective was that I would not launch before the election, because that doesn't make sense to me, right? And I would wait 6 months to 3 months for the reasons you're saying. I always kind of thought that would be true. It's hard to predict, but hopefully you're right.
Well, because the economy turned around with Trump last time. It turned around in less than 2 months. Wow. And started heading in the right direction. So and this time he's not what's been proposed, whether it happens or not, what's being proposed is a complete radical shifting of the entire way our federal dollars are spent. And so if everything happens the way I believe it is, and I don't see any reason why it won't, because I happen to be an optimist, people, which is what makes our friendship kind of work is, me optimist, you pessimist, and somehow we wind up in the middle.
I wouldn't say I'm a pessimist, but I would say I'm skeptical, far more skeptical.
Well, I don't know how to respond to that because you're pretty much the textbook pessimist. I mean,
I don't think I'm a pessimist at all. I am not. I am not a pessimist. If you talk to people in my real world life or whatever, I'm a very optimistic person.
Okay. All right.
But my understanding of the world is different, right? I'm optimistic besides it, right? So I mean, and you know, everybody has their opinion about stuff. So I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, the world's going a certain way. You ain't gonna stop it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, my faith in God is greater than my belief in the world. So that kind of keeps me buoyant in a way.
That's my point of view too. But that should inform me about what's happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, and you ain't gonna stop it.
No.
I mean, so I'm optimistic, but I'm not optimistic because I'm gonna make a lot of money or whatever is gonna happen to me, right? You know,
I'm not. I'm not suggesting you pack up everything and head to California. You know, I'm not. That's not what I'm suggesting. But
you know what I saw the other. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I saw the other day was these they were in California. These things I saw, but you can probably put them anywhere. But they're houses that are built in the Buckfulminster kind of what do they call those geodomes?
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck, those are fucking cool, man. I mean, maybe they suck, but they're like, they have those in California. I'm like, yeah, you know, I could go to California. I mean, if I could go to California and live in the woods in one of those things, that would be sweet. And they say that they're really good for the weather, like for rain. Yeah. You're not buying it?
Are you talking about the weird bubble guy from Northern Exposure? You know, played by Anthony Edwards.
No, I mean, they're just houses that are built like geodomes, and you can put them anywhere you want.
Yeah, that's what his house was. That's what his house was. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about those is that you like this, or they have the houses that are made out of metal containers. You know, you like this, you know, when they show you and they're really cool, but then you get to the price tag and they're fucking outrageous.
Yeah.
You're like, I want the $40,000 one that's like that. I don't want the $300,000.
Well, it is California. It is California. So,
well, I mean, maybe that's true, but I don't know. Dare to dream, I guess, right?
All right. Anyway, I guess. Well, anyway, thank you for coming, Shadowpunk, and crawling out of your hole long enough to help me out here. Thank you, RJ Williams, for coming on. And
looks really cool.
Yeah, check his links out. Got them both in the description. Got them over here in the chat. So check those out over there. Thank you all for coming down the rabbit hole today for the Monday call-in. Now, I don't know if it's going to be this Thursday because that is Thanksgiving or Friday, but the next person I'm going to talk to is the Kitty from Flip City. And we're going to talk about the return of the Lampoon to America and the importance of sarcasm and what's the word? Satire to the American discourse and how it's been suppressed and how we can get it back. Anyway,
you should get Don Chin. He's the king of that stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with her and maybe I'll have a later conversation with Don. Don's kind of non-competent. He's kind of missing in action. Yeah, hasn't really been involved a lot lately, so I think he's been busy. But either way, yeah, I'd love to talk to Don. But right now we'll start with Kitty. It'll be Thursday or it'll be Friday, and this Saturday night, Cryptids and Conspiracies is going to be Krampus. Thought we'd get into the Christmas holiday, and so we're going to start with Krampus, and that's going to be Cryptids and Conspiracies 7:00 on Saturday night. But keep your eyes open for this space with that conversation with Kitty. I believe we're going to trade. I think I'm going to go on her show, and she's going to come on mine, and we're gonna have a good time with that. Anyway, also check out Mr. Shadowpunk. He's on X under Shadowpunk. Check. I think you is X your primary, or you got other places you?
No, it's at Shadowpunk Comic. Yeah.
Okay, at Shadowpunk Comic on X, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to talk to him, he is a great person to talk to. Kind of stays busy though, but great promoter of other people's comics, and respect you. Word of wisdom here from somebody who happens to have to work in California. So don't go to California.
Definitely going now. If he says don't go, I'm going. Crash and burn, no matter what.
Stay in Arkansas. Stay in Arkansas where you're safe. Anyway, that's been Cooper for Telepathic Bunny Comics here with Shadowpunk. And we'll see you next time, guys. Bye, everybody.